Hello, and welcome to part 11 of the video presentation of Lab1A, which discusses the Rotate Element tool. This tool allows for the rotation of elements via 3 different modes. The objective of this lab is to demonstrate the functionality of the Rotate Element tool. The methods that will be the topics of discussion are the active angle method, rotate by 2 points method, and rotate by 3 points method. Use of the active angle mode is applicable when an element will be rotated by a known angular measurement. Remaining in the proposed water section and CAD Tools tab of the main menu, click the Rotate Element button, and the Rotate Element dialog will appear. Select the method, active angle, and enter the angle you would like to rotate the element by, as depicted in Figure 30. Following the prompts, at the lower left of the MicroStation Connect Edition dialog, select the element to rotate. It will be selected at a snap point, and that point will also be the pivot point for rotation. Alternate method B, rotate element by 2 points. Remaining in the proposed water section and CAD Tools tab of the main menu, click the Rotate Element button, and the Rotate Element dialog will appear. Select the method, in this case 2 points, as depicted in Figure 31. And following the prompts, at the lower left of the MicroStation Connect Edition dialog, select the element to rotate. Data point, where you want the element to pivot about. You can use the AccuSnap points that will appear as you move the cursor over the element. Now the element will rotate with the cursor around the pivot point. Place a data point where you want the element to rotate to. Alternate method C. Rotate element by 3 points. Use the 3 points method if you want to rotate an element a certain distance from another element. Remaining in the proposed water section and CAD Tools tab of the main menu, click the Rotate Element button, and the Rotate Element dialog will appear. Select the method, 3 points in this instance, as indicated in Figure 32. Following the prompts at the lower left of the MicroStation Connect Edition dialog, select the element to rotate. Place a data point at the point at which you want the element to rotate about. You can use the AccuSnap points that will appear as you move the cursor over the element. The dotted line attached to the pivot point will follow the cursor to the rotation starting point. Data point at the appropriate point, on or off the element. The element will now rotate with the cursor around the pivot point. Place a data point where you want the element to rotate to. Other rotate element tool options are as follows. Rotate element about center. It rotates the element about its center. Copies creates the designated number of copies while rotating. Use fence rotates fenced elements.
For a brief demonstration of the Rotate Element tool, we will remain in the CAD Tools section of the proposed water dialog and select the Rotate Element option. And when the Rotate dialog appears, we will use an active angle of 25 degrees. Select the object to be rotated, and we'll use the north arrow for this example. And follow the prompts at the lower left The first prompt is to identify the element to be rotated. The second prompt is to enter a pivot point. For the pivot point, we will select the tip of the north arrow. Left click to accept, and right click to exit the command. Next, we'll try alternate method B, which is rotate element by 2 points. To begin, we will undo the previous rotation. And we'll change the mode from active angle to the 2-point mode. Then we'll follow the prompts to the lower left of the MicroStation Connect Edition dialog. First, identify the element. Then enter the pivot point. And for this, we'll select the same pivot point. And as the cursor moves, the arrow rotates with the cursor. And the next prompt is to enter a point to define the amount of rotation. And so this time we'll just guesstimate on the 25 degrees. Next, we'll try the rotate element by 3 points option. Again, we'll undo the previous rotation. And then from the rotate dialog, we will select the 3 points option. Following the prompts, first we will identify the element. Then we will enter a pivot point. And again, we will reuse the same pivot point. And as we continue to follow the prompts, we will enter a point to define the start of rotation, followed by entering a point to define the amount of rotation. The third option, by 3 points, will be very useful in the event of rotating an object to align with the third object. For example, if we move the north arrow and we decide to rotate it such that it will align with the property line, which is back to its original location since the property line is due north, we can select the rotate element tool and leave it in the 3-point mode. And following the prompts, we will select the north arrow and select the pivot point. As we continue to follow the prompts, we will enter a point to define the start of the rotation, which is down the center axis of the north arrow. Then we will enter a point to define the amount of rotation. So to define the amount of rotation, if we snap to the property line, we will be aligning the north arrow with the property line. And since it has been rotated to a due north rotation, all we'll have to do now is move the north arrow back into place.
In summary, this video demonstrates the functionality of the rotate element tool using the active angle, 2 points, and 3 points methods. This concludes the Lab 1A Part 11 lab. Thank you for joining us.